Should I work in a private dental office or a corporate dental office? Hi, my name is Whitney and I'm a dental hygienist here to talk about private versus corporate dental offices. And before we jump in, if you want to learn even more about the dental hygiene career, I have a free RDH video checklist on how to become an RDH to navigating life as a registered dental hygienist. So no matter where you are on your RDH journey, I'll link below my free RDH video checklist for you to learn everything there is about this amazing dental hygiene career. First things first, what's the difference between private versus corporate? A private practice is typically owned by one dentist or has an additional dentist who co-owns the practice. Typically, private practices have one location and thrive on creating relationships with patients that stick around for the long term. Corporate dental offices often have multiple locations, sometimes across different states on a much larger scale. Corporate offices are typically owned by investors or teams of corporate dentists who employ many staff members per location and manage the business from a remote location. Corporate offices thrive on using their brand name to market their practice. When it comes to corporate offices, the advantages are that they offer full-time positions with benefits such as vacation time and medical insurance. However, some potential downsides, including working with multiple dentists and not having the opportunity to build long-term relationships with patients. Not always, but sometimes corporate offices can feel impersonal, like a large corporation, rather than a more intimate practice. On the other hand, with private practices, you get the opportunity to really get to know your patients as you're usually working with one or two dentists. There's a sense of personal connection and the ability to align your philosophies and work methods more closely. It's about building relationships and treating patients on a more individual level. However, in terms of disadvantages, full-time positions with benefits are generally less common in private practice. While there may be some exceptions, it's not the norm to receive benefits or paid vacations when you are part-time at a private office. However, private practices often offer more flexibility, allowing you to take time off as long as you provide sufficient advance notice. This can be beneficial for those seeking a flexible schedule. Another consideration is the level of supervision and communication. Corporate offices may have someone constantly in your ear, directing you and relaying messages. Literally, some corporate offices have you wear a headset while you're working. This can be distracting and may not suit everyone's preference for a work environment. In contrast, private practice tends to offer more autonomy and independence in managing your own daily tasks. Because oftentimes you clock in and you clock out at a corporate office, whereas a private practice might be more likely to have, a group text, more involved workplace relationships and stuff like that. Not always, but sometimes. Ultimately, the decision between private practice and corporate office depend on your individual priorities and preferences. Some of you will thrive in the structure and benefits provided by corporate settings, while others might prefer the personal connections and flexibility offered by private practices. I think it's really important to research and understand the specific opportunities available in your area and consider what aligns best with your professional and personal goals. Also, keep in mind that corporate offices tend to get a bad reputation, so don't always judge a book by its cover. Yes, there are lots of awful corporate offices. However, there are also lots of great corporate offices. I know several hygienists who enjoy their corporate offices or their DSOs, dental support organizations. So don't always be discouraged thinking that private practice is the only answer, because there are also awful private practices out there that exist, as with anything, So if you're really struggling to find out which one is best for you, my best advice is to shadow a few different types of offices to get the feel before you apply or agree to work there, or do a working interview, or take advantage of temping in different office environments. Anything for you to see for yourself what works best for you and your lifestyle. And please keep in mind that anything you hear about the differences between corporate and private, including this video, is based on general experiences and opinions, and it's kind of stereotypical in a sense. There are always exceptions and variations within both types of dental offices. So in all, while private versus corporate dental hygiene jobs both have pros and cons to consider, it's impossible to say one is better than the other. There is something for everyone. And by throwing yourself yourself into each setting, you'll get to experience what you like and dislike. You won't really know until you personally try each one. By putting yourself out there, you can get a feel for what is best for you and your dental hygiene career. Also, remember that every office is different. So don't forget that everything depends on where you work. Nothing is set in stone. Everyone's situation is unique. Just because you're working private doesn't mean you won't ever get healthcare benefits. Some people do. Same with corporate. Just because you work corporate doesn't mean you automatically get paid vacation time off. Although corporate tends to offer health insurance and full-time benefits, and private tends to offer more part-time benefits, every office will be different. Anyway, always ask during your interviews and never assume anything about one or the other. Ask questions during your interviews. And if you want a full list of the pros and cons of each type of office, I will link that article of mine in the description box below. And while reading through that list, don't forget that while every job has its pros and cons, especially when it comes to corporate work versus private work, it's essential to focus on what aligns with your interests, your values, and your long-term goals. And speaking of your long-term goals, one more time I'd like to remind you all about my free RDH video checklist. If you are someone who is interested in the dental hygiene career, I made this video checklist especially for you because I get lots of questions in the comments and messages asking me how to become a dental hygienist. So whether you are in high school, college, or even some of you may have already graduated dental hygiene school and you're looking for more information post-graduation. Whatever the case, if you're interested in learning everything there is about the RDH career, be sure to click the link below. And I hope this video helped you. Please like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications if it did. And if you want more teeth talk, even more teeth talk, you can visit my website, teethtalkgirl.com, and hang out with me on Instagram at teethtalkgirl. Peace, love, and teeth.